Bo Nickal defeated. Has he been fraud checked? Derrida gets a devastating victory. UFC 315 this weekend with 2 title matches, 2 massive fights in the main and co-main event. Sandhagen wins and has potentially cemented himself as #1 contender. And Conor Benn speaks for the first time publicly since his loss to Chris Eubank Jr. I'm here with the legend Luke Tanner, Jamie Phillips. Unfortunately, we were able to make it. We're here. It's Combat Catch Up Live. Let's get into it. Big up to all of you watching. Smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Shout out to UK Ruck in the chat. John Jones still ducking. It seems like he is. Poor Tom Aspinall is still waiting for that fight, and he may never get that fight. However, we have got some stuff to discuss tonight. But firstly, Luke, we just watched a classic in the Champions League with Inter Milan and Barcelona. How are you doing, bro?
For that Inter. That's all I gotta say. The Salon d'Or is still very much alive and well.
Still on. Shout out to Diego as well in the chat. Bro, what a game, man. What a tie, actually. We sit there and talk about the game. What a tie. Like,
that's probably the best tie that doesn't involve Liverpool.
I mean, Jamie, I know Jamie was doing a watch along with Matt and Drift.
I think I joined in extra.
Oh, you joined in extra time, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so I couldn't do extra time, but like, was it Jamie mentioned Ajax and Spurs. That was an amazing game.
Yeah.
And then also Liverpool Barcelona. I think these 2 games between Inter and Barcelona have topped those. I know it might be recency bias, but I think they've been topped.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Clark Kent. Well. Guilty or not guilty, kind of. Yeah, I've been taking L's all day. I'll be real with you. I've been taking L's for a few weeks now with transfers, etc. Shout out to Cringe Gov says we all predicted Inter will win the Champions League. I predicted the Inter Arsenal final. I'm still actually sticking with that, even though I hope I'm wrong on one of those.
PSG are going to slice and dice Arsenal.
I hope so. I hope so, but stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Diego says, I think this is best. This was style versus style. Bo team was sitting back. All right, let's look. No team was sitting back. Sorry, that's very true. That's very true. Right, let's get into MMA, bro.
Yeah.
Fight night of the weekend, and I'm going to start with the co-main event. Bo Nickal had a massive step up against Reina Derrida, former 2-weight division champion in ONE FC, and he got absolutely battered. Now, the question is, has he been fraud checked? Now, I spoke on this yesterday and I said, I don't think he's been fraud checked. And the reason I say that is because Derrida is a world-class fighter. For me, you're fraud checked if you come up against someone who's not considered world-class when you are considered to be the guy and all of that, and you haven't been. For example, as much as I rate this person, I kind of have to say Peyton Talbot got fraud checked because he didn't lose against a world-class opponent.
Yeah.
It feels as though Bo Nickal was fed to Derrida for whatever reason, because the UFC didn't need to put him in that fight. What's your thoughts on it?
Because he fraud checked. No, because I rate Derrida. I know when he signed to the UFC, everyone's going, "What? This guy has passed his best." I think he came off of a knockout loss to the guy that beat him for his light heavyweight belt. Derrida is one of the rare MMA fighters that have gone to challenge for the 3 belts. When he lost at heavyweight, then the guy that beat him dropped down to light heavyweight, beat him. I think Derrida got a win, and then he left. But I think this was a big step up too soon. However, I say this all the time: when you talk your shit as Bo Nickal was doing, you have to back shit up. Because when you fall flat on your face, when you look like a bit of a tit, and everyone's basically taking the piss out of you because you were, basically going, what? Slagging off the Dagestani wrestling.
Said you'd rock.
Calling
Said you'd
Hamzat's wrestling
Hamzat.
mid. You talk about your striking game, like beating Valentine Woodburn in 38 seconds. It's like, oh, I can strike now. But, it's just...
It's the amount of talking he did, isn't it? Let's be real. It's the amount of talking.
Look at his interviews. You've gone... He's going to go one or two ways here. Like, he's going to back his shit up, and you're going to build that star, the shit talker that backs stuff up. But when you get mauled, like, I have to say, he looked like he quit.
Nah, that knee to the body. That knee to the body was devastating.
Knee to the body, but in those situations, right? It's a fight or flight. How badly do you want it? How badly do you want it? And obviously he didn't want it bad enough because he looked like he just,
I'll be real, bro. When you get hit to the body like that, I think your body shuts down regardless of the heart you might have. But I do think he was dragged into deep waters and drowned.
Like, and I have to say, was he given a ranked opponent too quickly? Well, Paul Craig was sort of wasn't in the top 15, but he was teetering on the top 15. I thought that fight was poor. That probably showed the level where he was at, that he had a lot of work to do before he fought for ranking. And like we said this a while ago, Bo Nickal doesn't beat anyone in the middleweight top 15.
Not at the moment, no.
No one. For me personally, he looks a bit undersized for me.
So that was the next question I was going to ask you. Wrestlers are known for cutting a lot of weight, but it doesn't look like Bo does cut a lot of weight. Do you think this will make him reconsider? Because the Ridder looked huge in there in comparison to him.
The Ridder's fought at heavyweight.
Yeah.
He's fought light heavyweight. So this guy is he's a big guy.
Yeah.
And I reckon Bo's walk around weight, I'd probably say it's about 200.
Yeah. The Ridder's bigger than that.
About that, I'd say the Ridder's about 210, 215.
Yeah, I reckon so.
And, wrestlers, when they like to get in there, they like to be, the physically dominating one. And I feel like that he would have more success in dropping down. Obviously, are we saying he drops down and goes straight in there with like a Vicente Luque, a Carlos Pratas? No, because he would get absolutely cooked.
Yeah, that'd be ugly.
So he doesn't beat anyone inside the welterweight top 15. He doesn't even beat MVP, who's ranked number 15 at welterweight.
The only way he beats MVP is if he closes the distance on MVP and is able to keep him grounded with his wrestling. But even that's a big
ask. A lot to learn, and I think I saw a clip from the Brendan's Rob podcast. Like, it's going to go one or two ways. He's going to get that bit in between his teeth. Like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to prove it that was just, that's going to really accelerate him to go up a gear, or that's going to break him, and then he's going to be cooked. Because the way that he was spoken about, you know who he reminded me of with the hype? He reminded me of Edwin Shabazian when he was coming up. Yeah. Obviously, different situations.
Edmund wasn't talking as much as Bo has, though.
Pardon?
Edmund wasn't talking.
Bo was talk. Yeah. But everyone else did the talking for him.
Yeah.
He's training with Ronda at 16. This guy's a beast. This guy's a monster. Yeah. This guy's, next level. He's going to be a champ. He gets in there. He's in a lightning hot streak. And then he fights someone who's a little. We think, okay, this is a big jump here. It's going to make or break him. And then it broke him. Since then, he's sort of been up and down. Looks like that he's got his, career back on track, then gone back down again. And that's, for me, if Bo Nickal doesn't, buck his ideas up, because if he goes back to talking this shit, everyone's gonna go, yeah,
not believable.
yeah,
Well, I want to
not
read it.
believable anymore.
I want to read a quote from him after him reflecting on his stoppage. So it reads, I felt super confident going into the fight. I think that in my mind, prior to, I did everything that I needed to do to prepare for the win, to win the fight. I felt great. I think that now, having looked back and gone through that I wasn't as prepared as I thought. There was a lot of things I could have done better prior to, and a lot of things I could have focused on and done it differently. That sounds like a man who's been humbled.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
as you just said, he's at a crossroad now. This could be the worst thing that happens to him, or it could be the absolute best thing that happens to him. Because he could literally
This could
nail
be.
down now. If he's conquered the art of wrestling, he's never going to conquer the art of striking as like someone else who conquered striking, who started like an Anderson Silva out striking. But if he rounds out his game, and he could become a beast, he really could.
Yeah,
But it all
he
depends on
probably
him now.
looked right. He probably looked at the Ridder since coming into the UFC. Wasn't convincing against GM3.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
a late round submission. Comes in and absolutely bullies Kevin Holland.
yeah.
But
Makes it easy.
if it's any given night, you could just have that night where you ragdoll Kevin Holland. It's been done before. So he's probably gone there thinking, mate, this guy is
Kevin's
way
not a
past
wrestler
his
either.
prime. He's a big name because he is a big name.
Yeah,
Because his only losses is to Antolai McCulkin.
yeah,
Like back to back, TKO losses. Those are his only losses on his record. So he probably thought, this is a great opportunity, big name, could get myself in the top 15. And I think, the statement, that sounds like a guy that has been humble. Let's see where that humbleness takes him.
yeah.
Because if he goes in and next fight he's talking his even because he's at ATT, like the amount of Jorge Masvidal, the way that he was talking about,
Yeah.
that this guy's a killer. But even look, Mike Brown, American Top Team, believed that a lack of experience led to his pupil's first professional loss in mixed martial arts. Then why would
Why
you
is he really throwing in there with him?
take a massive step up?
Because I'll be honest, if he beats the
He's
Ridder,
not crazy, having Bo Nickal as a sizable favourite.
yeah, anyone who bet on the Ridder is laughing because they
Something to the bank.
ate very well that night.
And even Mike Brown said that they had concerns going up against an elite competition like the Ridder, a former 2 Division 1 championship king. However, the renowned ATT coach trusted the skill set of Nickal, a former 3-time NAA Division 1 ace. Brown admits while Nickal is a gifted athlete, his lack of experience showed against the Dutch veteran, but he's confident that he'll bounce back stronger. Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so for his sake, because he will. There's plenty of other talents that have come in hot. The next big thing, and they've just faded into obscurity.
Yeah.
So he needs to be careful he doesn't fall that. But he sort of deserves the cooking. He sort of deserves it, because
he does.
when you talk your shit and you don't back it up, you get cooked. And he's getting cooked.
Completely agree. Smash the like, people, if you haven't already. Shout out to Football Gospel, Cringe Gov, Liego, Scraps, Clark Kent, Ucrot in the chat as well. Make sure you go and subscribe to Jamie's channel, and make sure you subscribe to Luke's channel. We'll be on Luke's channel tomorrow doing the 3:15 preview. Shout out to Ballers FC in the chat as well. Right, let's move on to 3:15, and then we'll pivot back to Corey Sandhagen before we end with Conor Benn. UFC 3:15, 2 massive fights. Obviously, Valentina versus Fiorot, which could cement Valentina's legacy even further than it already has been. But the fight that I think all eyes are on at the moment is Belal versus Jack Della Maddalena. And for so many reasons. Obviously, it's the welterweight title bout. It's Belal's first defense but also it's the
Islam's lurking.
Islam situation. The knock-on effect this has on the welterweight division
And the lightweight division.
and the lightweight division is crazy. Do you think that not necessarily the best fight, not necessarily the most exciting fight, but do you think this is the most important title fight so far this year?
Yes, massively. Because I don't know whether or not you saw Hunter posted on social media that he's been in Dagestan with Islam and his manager. So I'm wondering if the situation is, because even Bilal's come out and sort of addressed it and saying, Islam, you might as well start fighting Taporia because I'm not leaving Canada without this belt. Sort of thing, sort of telling him to sort of stay. And obviously the Islam, Bilal not wanting to fight Islam, which I do think's a pile of shit personally, because just he goes, oh, we trained together, so of course we're not going to fight. Yeah, because probably Islam whooped you. In training. That's why you don't want to fight him. And like, oh, it's like a family. You ain't family, man. You ain't family. This ain't like Khabib is the champ. And Islam's like, oh yeah, I won't fight Khabib. And we're like, yeah, we understand that. Khabib, big bro.
We have seen this before though with Kane and DC, for example. Daniel Cormier moved down to 205 because Kane was heavyweight.
But it is because it's definitely not the most implications, because you imagine if Bilal loses, Islam goes up, vacates the belt. Ilya fights Charles for the vacant belt, which I think is going to happen at International Fight Week. Because Ilya's already said that he's fighting at International Fight Week for a belt.
Hang on, International Fight Week is what? Is
317.
370. There's not even a 317
because it's not been announced.
But 38, yeah, you're right.
It's not being announced because I got a feeling that they are. I think all their plans are hinging on this main event.
Because 316 is at the beginning of the month.
Yeah, and we know, guys, Aspinall, Jones, it ain't happening then, because John Jones doing everything in his power, to end Aspinall's career by.
I have a theory on the John Jones thing. I think John Jones stage chat has he broken the record now for longest reigning champion?
He can't beat it because he's not an undisputed champion. He's a disputed champion. So
they would call him an undisputed champion. But I think has he gone past the threshold of what constitutes to be the longest heavyweight? How long has he got left to pass it?
No idea.
I think he'll hold on to that title until he surpasses that record, and then he'll retire.
Yeah, because you look at 316, 7th of June, then 318 is 19th of July.
Yeah.
So you're probably thinking beginning of July.
Well, I think it's the 28th it's meant to be, isn't it?
Yeah, 28th of June. So...
And that's after... That'll be 2 weeks after Usman Buckley. That's a hell of a fight, by the way, as well. There's some good fight cards coming up, I can't lie.
So let's say 315 is 11th of May. So you're saying...
It's a very short turnaround.
It's a very short turnaround.
Very short. You're looking at a month and a half, just over a month and a half.
Unless Islam sort of known where this situation is going to be, and he's been stalling to get himself ready, and it's not a fact that he doesn't want to fight him; it's just the fact that he wants to be well compensated for taking another, in his eyes, another midget, basically another smaller guy.
Well, here's the thing. I reckon Topuria, Makhachev, Oliveira are all in training camps at the moment.
Yeah,
they just don't know who
this main event is dictating who's getting their phone call.
Yeah, well, they're all getting phone calls. It just depends on what the conversations are. So it'll be very interesting. Very interesting. Also on that card is obviously Maino Fiorot going for the 125-pound women's belt against Valentina Shevchenko. Jose Aldo at bantamweight fighting
versus
Zahabi.
Ariel Helwani.
Yeah, Ariel Helwani's twin. Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva is a massive fight in that division. And your guy, Benoit Saint-Denis.
Not my guy no more. It's not my guy no more.
Oh, is he not?
No, it's not my guy no more.
Bro, you chucked him to the curb, bro.
No, I've not chucked him to the curb. I've chucked him to the curb for good reasons. He's very cool to animals. So
okay, fair.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have my reasons, man.
Okay, fair.
It's not
But
because
he's on
like,
the
he
card as well.
cooked. So
Looking,
he's supposed to fight Joe Alvarez on this card, but he's now fighting a guy that he should probably beat.
Yeah, Popolek.
No, Gilbert Burns, Michael Morales on the card was supposed to be on this card.
Yeah, they pushed that back to next week, haven't they?
Yeah, as a fight night, which is gonna cook, by the way.
Yeah, that fight night's good as well. Some good stuff coming out from the UFC. So yeah, obviously we'll be doing a preview on your channel tomorrow. That'll be on the Luke Tanner MMA. Link in the description. Also, make sure you subscribe to that channel as well. Right, Luke, let's move on. Back to the fight night that happened on Saturday. Corey Sandhagen versus Figueiredo, dominating the fight. They both get into not necessarily a tangle. Corey goes for a leg lock, still has his leg trapped, and then sits up. Figueiredo doesn't react and basically effectively blows his knee out. And then Sandhagen finishes with strikes. Unfortunate way for the fight to end. Obviously, knee injuries are probably one of the worst injuries you can get as a sportsman or sportswoman because of the rehab and the rehabilitation, because the knees basically bear the weight of the body effectively. In terms of Sandhagen, though, you could arguably say Sandhagen is probably the best fighter who's fought in UFC for a good amount of time to not have had an undisputed title fight. Does that now change after that win against Figueiredo?
I think it does, I think it does because of the situations, right? So a Merab, either Merab or retaining or Sean getting the belt, Sandhagen's a fresh matchup. It's fresh, right? Don't know what's going on with Umar. I think Umar's not going to be ready for a while.
Umar can't get a title fight straight away.
No, Umar can't get a title fight. I think Jan's called out Sandhagen to fight in July for a rematch.
No, apparently, sorry to cut you. Jan is apparently going to be fighting.
He is going to be fighting ranked 13 Marcus
McGee, I think it is.
Which is crazy, by the way.
So if I'm going to be real with you, well, it shows the kind of fighter Jan is. Marcus McGee's ranked 13th. Jan is ranked 2nd. Once again, Jan doesn't have to take this fight. So shout out to him. Shout out to Marcus McGee for getting his fight.
Yeah.
I'm going to be real with you. Umar, for me, versus Jan should have been the fight to make, personally.
Yeah.
I kind of don't know why that fight wasn't made. That, for me, is the fight.
Unless Umar is out for the foreseeable.
But even then, could you not have done Jan and Vera or Jan and Song? No, Jan and Yadong.
Jan and Song's fought before.
Yeah.
Jan and Vera's fought before. So
who do you do Jan and Cejudo? Just
no,
for
I think
Cejudo's done.
I'm trying
obviously,
to see.
Jan's beat. I tell you what, Jan has gone through this division, innit? Obviously, Jan's fought. So Jan's fought O'Malley. He's fought Merab. He's fought Sandhagen, Yadong, Figueiredo. Bloody hell, the guy's gone through the division.
It's
shout out to Jan
as well. So
his resume is bloody incredible, considering what he won the title from Aldo during the pandemic. So within 5 years, and he was out for like a year with injury as well. Yeah, big up to Jan, man.
Probably looking at the rankings saying is he fought Vera?
I don't think he has.
He actually hasn't fought
Vera's fighting very soon as well, isn't he? I feel like Vera's fighting soon.
I'll have a look.
Yeah, 3/16. So Vera's fighting in a month's time.
What is he? So
he's fighting Mario Bautista.
Yeah, that understands why they've not been matched up. Cejudo, I think Kyler Phillips is serving a drugs ban, I think.
So yeah, it is McGee then.
McGee,
I mean,
so you're looking at the order.
Is
It
Rob Font?
actually makes sense.
I feel like Jan has.
No,
I don't think he has fought Font.
No, he's not. He
hasn't.
Is Font still recovering? Because he got his. Because I have to say, yeah, he got his ass whooped.
Let's see, Rob Font.
Because he must have got.
Rob Font's Rob Font's last win was February.
2 wins against Gene Matsumoto. Then beat Kyler Phillips by decision. Lost 2 in a row to Figueiredo to Sandhagen. Beat Yanez by KO. Then lost to Vera and Aldo by decision. Then he beat Cody Garbrandt, Marlon Moraes, Ricky Shimon, Sergio Pettis. Lost to Alcenciao. Beat Thomas Almeida. Lost to Pedro Munoz. Lost to John Lineker as well. Legend.
You could have potentially done Font and Jan, but I do like Jan versus McGee. McGee's a really good fighter,
and it's a massive opportunity because McGee wins, and you're thinking
that's a brand new name.
We've got a new player.
Yeah, that's a brand new name. So yeah, I'm with you. I think Sandhagen has to be next in line for a title shot. I think he sits around and waits for the winner of O'Malley and Marab, and whoever wins that, I think gets the title shot.
Apparently, speaking of like title shots and stuff, Ian Gary says that he will not accept a non-title fight and wants the champion. That's per the Full Send.
He'll probably get it, but he hasn't beaten anyone in the top. Has he even beaten anyone in the top 10? Currently in the top 10.
Yeah, I don't think you're my answer.
All right, so currently in the top 10, he has beat Jeff Neal, so Jeff Neal's number 10. He hasn't fought Covington, he hasn't fought Burns, hasn't fought Buckley, hasn't fought JDM, hasn't fought Kamaru, hasn't fought Edwards, fought and lost to Shavkat, and hasn't fought Brady. You cannot get a title shot when you're ranked.
Carlos Prates.
Yeah, but Carlos Prates is ranked 13th.
You're ranked. He's top 15 wins, and you're wanting the title shot.
You can't.
As Canelo would say, get the fuck out of here, man. Please, man.
You can't demand it. Your body of work isn't there. And look, here's the thing. I like Ian Gary. I do actually, and he's winning me over, if I'm going to be honest, because he's a fighter. And you know what? Even the interactions he has when he's got his little one around, I like that.
Yeah, you notice that he uses a little one as like a little shield.
Yeah. No, I rate it though. I rate it because do you know what it does? It takes fighters out of that fighter mode because you're not going to be an idiot in front of a child, are you? So it's a good thing to do. But in terms of the resume, you can't use that resume that he's currently got to demand a title shot. I get you stepped in twice against Shavkat and Carlos Prates.
Yeah,
but you can't get a title shot.
Late notice step-ins doesn't automatically go title shot, please.
It doesn't. You still have to build a resume. Plus, Sean Brady, he can't get a title shot before Sean Brady, Shavkat. If Usman or Buckley win a fight, you can't get one over them two either. If Usman wins, you can't get one over Usman. If Buckley wins, Buckley goes ahead of him in the rankings. And obviously JDM's next in line. He can't get a title shot before anyone above him apart from Edwards. He can't. The body of work isn't there. Shout out to Hustle Bones. I know he's not the most exciting fighter, but there has to be a meritocracy as well. If he's winning fights, then he has to
carry the backup. It's the backup for Bilal JDM. He's the backup.
No, I rate it. And that might be the only way he gets a title shot because he can't get it regardless. He just can't. If they do that again, they're crapping on people like Sean Brady, he's ranked number 1.
Yeah.
If that's the case, what is the point of having the rankings? There's no point in having the ranking.
Yeah, well, apparently the rankings are full of shit, and then
they have been for a while, unfortunately.
AI is going to be the solver.
We'll see. We will
But
see.
we'll see.
Smash that like button if you haven't already. Please, people, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let us know if you think Sandhagen will get the next title shot at bantamweight. Right, Conor Benn fought in an all-time classic against Chris Eubank Jr. and
Dude,
he
juice head.
is, yeah, I agree. And
Juice
he's
head, I think.
been speaking to Ade Oladipo as part of
Coach
Ariel
Errol as well.
Hawani's on Crown Channel and Ariel Hawani, and he's had a lot of things to say. Firstly, he said that if it's not Eubank next, then it's not going to happen at all. I don't want to see him fight Eubank again, personally, because I don't think it makes sense. I think one of that type of fight was so special with everything around it. I don't think it can be replicated. Secondly, you can't weight drain Eubank again, and Connor's going to be too small for him if Eubank is allowed to fully
I
rehydrate.
have to say slightly, sorry to cut in.
Oh, of course, go for it.
Weight. The weight drain thing, I was thinking about it, right? If this was the first time Eubank fought at 160 and he's never cut to 160 before and he just missed weight like that, then I'd be like, you know what? I understand, the weight drain. He doesn't fight at this weight normally. But this guy's a world champ at this weight. Yes, the rehydration clause is bang out of order.
Yeah, that's the main thing, is the rehydration.
That's the thing that I've got an issue with. Him going to 160, I've not got an issue with. He's already a world champ at like a current belt holder at 160. I think the issue should be, why on earth is he only allowed to add 10 pounds after probably in a very horrible weight cut?
It was a very horrible weight cut. But here's the thing, though, Luke. I hear what you're saying, but on the other side, Rob Whittaker was a 170 pounder, for example. Rob's never making 170 again.
Yeah, I do think Eubank needs to, ditch that belt, go up to 168.
I agree. I don't. If Eubank takes that fight again, if he's going to take it at 160, he's allowed to fully rehydrate, and then I think that makes sense for Eubank. He's got the victory. Eubank doesn't need to follow any of the terms that's set in front of him by Eddie Hearn or Conor Benn this time.
Good, Eddie. I don't want to hear from you, Eddie.
Facts. And also, Conor Benn now is speaking, saying that if he doesn't get the rematch, then he's going to go back down to 147. And he said he would like to fight Haney. Again, I don't know what Conor Benn's done to deserve a fight against Haney or one of these guys.
Ballfest.
Yeah, it's like I understand he's got a name now because he's had an amazing fight, but again, meritocracy.
His name is basically because that one, he's his dad.
Yeah.
The second that he should be counted as like his dad, he's even got a career. Because let's be honest, he should be banned, like banned. Like it wasn't like it's an accidental. You had enough testosterone to again knock out a horse, sort of thing. So let's not, complain, saying about this about him. He's very lucky to even have a career.
Yeah, agreed.
At the moment, that's why I'm not a massive fan of him. I'll never be a massive fan.
Agreed. Do you think he goes back down to 147? Do you think he could potentially become a world champion?
Thing is, I've not seen a lot of his work before his drug ban. I paid more of attention after, and he is not the same guy as he was before the ban.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd say the Eubank fight is different because it's a rivalry.
Yeah, and he's fighting a bigger man.
He's fighting the bigger man. You're fighting for your family's pride, your family's name, and puts in a stellar performance. But his performances after he came back from the ban, looked like a guy that lost pretty much all of his power.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, there are some heavy hitters at 147.
Yeah.
Some heavy hitters.
Like Bruce Ennis and people like that.
Level.
Yeah.
I just don't think it is. I think he's going to get big fights because of the last name Ben.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's at that level remains to be seen. Like, who's been his hardest test at 147? Does anyone know
Chris
who?
Algieri is the biggest name he's beaten at 147, and Chris Algieri was at the late stage of his career at that point.
Was that retirement home age?
Yeah,
Was that the perfect Jake Paul age?
yeah, effectively.
Opponent age. So, there's plenty of options. Garcia, Haney, Lopez, Tank, maybe. So there's definitely names, but
yeah,
whether or not it'd be a world champ
remains to be seen.
Remains to be seen. He probably will be because boxing, corrupt boxing association, and they just chuck out world championship belts, and they just spawn them out of nowhere. So yeah, he probably will be a world champ, probably.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how it all goes with Conor Ben, because
I
don't know if he'll never be a fan favorite again. But he could potentially, if he's navigated right, he could have a good career. But at the same time, I don't know.
Always going to be an asterisk. You made everyone love Chris Eubank Jr. People didn't like.
Yeah, it's
Jr.
true. It's actually
You made
true.
Chris Eubank Jr. a saint.
Yeah.
And the person that came out the biggest star is Eubanks Jr.
Maybe senior.
And senior.
Yeah, it might be senior.
That's who you've made the real stars.
Yeah. So yeah. Crazy, huh? Crazy, huh? But people, we are going to wrap up there. As I've said a few times, and we'll keep saying, shout out to everyone in the chat. We are live on Luke's channel tomorrow, so make sure you're there. Roughly what time are you saying, bro?
Probably the same time as tonight, about 11:30.
About 11:30. People, you know what to do. Links in the chat. Sorry, links in the description. Make sure you go and subscribe to Luke's channel. I know he's not here. Make sure you subscribe to Jamie's channel as well. And while you're here, if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel as well. Back on Luke's channel tomorrow. I'll probably have a 5-minute preview that, or maybe a 5 or 10-minute preview that comes out between now and the end of the. Well, no, it won't be tomorrow. It'll probably be Thursday or Friday. I've got a couple of shows I'm going to do on Big Up as well this week, so make sure you look out for that as well. And yeah, and then we'll have the watch along on Saturday. Fun week of MMA. Also, potentially going to be dropping the Andre Petroski interview with Colin Crandall this week as well.
Bit of a bomber in this show.
Yeah, little one. So yes, people, do smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Subscribe to Luke's channel. Subscribe to Jamie's channel. It's been another combat catch up. A lot's going on in the world of MMA and combat, and it's all fun, and we love it, people. Have a fantastic evening, day, or wherever you are in the world. Take it easy. Thanks all for watching and listening. See you later.